Hey, what's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? Back. Wanted to chop it up with you guys one more time. Get back, do another quick video. This one's gonna be technically giving a response to the Dame Dash interview that's on his network called the American New Network. Man, this interview is crazy. If y'all haven't had a chance, and before we do anything, make sure you stop. Go hit that like button, hit that subscribe, notification bell, whatever you need to hit. All the buttons, hit all those. But on a serious note, man, Dame Dasher did a crazy interview with American New, which is his network, is his platform. Basically, the questions that someone would ask him about the Jay-Z stuff and all this other stuff, the Diddy stuff, he's answering it on his own platform. With that being said, he does bring up Jaguar Wright. He heavily leans into, I guess, what he's seen on our interviews, and we'll touch on that. But before we even get started, if you haven't seen the interview, I want you to stop what you're doing, run over to American New. That's in America or American. N as a Nancy, U as an umbrella. American New, the American New Network. That's where Dame Dash is doing all his conversation, man. But I just wanted to kind of get y'all's take on it because, man, he said a lot in this interview. And the first thing that I noticed was, of course, well, let's just touch on the Jaguar Wright stuff. Let's get right to it. He basically stated that Jaguar Wright, he's been seeing Jaguar Wright making a lot of headlines. I'm sure he's watched some of our interviews. I'm sure he's seen what he needs to see with our interviews. And he said Jaguar, uh, she's always been. It's always been a social media conversation. It's always been via social media that, of course, these things are going, and things don't really, things can get lost in social media and the TikToks, the YouTubes, the Instagram Reels, all that stuff. Things can get lost. He said to see her on Pierce Morgan, uh, and I don't think he said to show Pierce Morgan, but to see her on national news, he said that must be taken it must be looked at seriously. Of course, Dame Dash, as you know, him and Jay Z started Rockefeller. They came up in the '90s, 2000s, doing a lot of work together until they had a falling out. Jay Z went his way, Dame Dash went his way. The company, I think, was split. You had Rockaware, you had Rock Nation. A lot of things happened from that. Jay Z, of course, married Beyonce, I believe, in '02, '03, and everything was history with that. But with that being said, one thing he did say was Jaguar Wright. She's up here making these accusations on Pierce Morgan, and he's speaking on it like, "Hey, why hasn't no one sued her? Why hasn't no one said I'm going to sue her for defamation of character? If she's saying things that's out of left field, why isn't He's like, Jay-Z, you better do something. He's saying that your silence can't work forever. Your silence cannot work forever. You better do something. You can't just sit here all day and just let someone talk about you, especially if it's that damning, because uh, what Dame said was that it does damage business. What y'all don't see is that there's our business deals. Of course, Jay-Z's tied in with, of course, Title I think was sold, but he's tied in with the NFL, Super Bowl, and stuff like that. So technically, allegations that come against you, if loud enough, he's saying that brands do look at that and say, hey, we don't know what's true or not. We're just gonna, we're gonna just step back for a little bit. So in order to calm that, you got to kind of address it. Uh, Waiting on Jay Z to address it, man. Even Pierce Morgan said he allowed Jaguar to say what she had to say, and what his response was is that Jay Z and Beyonce aren't here to defend themselves. So yeah, that's not even Pierce Morgan defending them. That's just him saying, hey, they're not here. So what Dame is saying, like, hey, Jag is saying these things, y'all, say something. Now, one thing that he also added to that was that, and it gives us, of course, the validity at real life that he said that Jaguar, what she's saying is not far from the truth. He's saying that he was there in a lot of these rooms, in a lot of these meetings. He mentioned, of course, Harvey Weinstein. That of course, Harvey Weinstein was the Weinstein Company was, you know, part of Paid in Full, the movie he had made. And he said after that, just meeting the Weinsteins and kind of just seeing what kind of person that man is, he chose not to deal with him no more. He said, "Hey, he's hands off. I'm not dealing with him no more." He said Jay Z continued to want to work with him. Jay Z continued forward to work with him a little more. He said R. Kelly. He went into detail about the R. Kelly. You know, at the time, I think Aaliyah was going on 21. She was already, shooting the Matrix and stuff of that nature. Him both Jay-Z liked Aaliyah and Dame Dash liked Aaliyah, and they both went at her. Dame Dash got her, and like he said, that was his girl. He was in love with her, and he said, "How could you do a record with someone who we know for a fact was sleeping with her? Probably got her pregnant, and everything, which is considered statutory, R word." She's like, how do you do business with someone like that? How do you make an album with someone like that after they're probably singing songs about a girl you liked it? So Dame looked at it as like, man, it's kind of like a slap in the face. So he said, hey, on his channel, he said, hey, you keep all the money for this album. It's all yours. I don't want no parts of it. And, go from there. And then sure enough, right when the album dropped, as it was dropping, that's when I think almost a month or so, or a few months after it dropped, that's when all the allegations came out on R. Kelly. The tape came out with him and the 14-year-old, or allegedly, I guess, whatever. Him and the 14-year-old peeing on a little girl, and the tape started going crazy, selling everywhere. And this album was out, Best of Both Worlds. I think they had just dropped Fiesta remix as a music video, and maybe a couple other songs. But yeah, he was like, how could you do that? So that kind of, lets you know where his thoughts on Jay-Z were. And even Dame doing this interview, even him talking about Jay-Z, it just goes to show like they either had some bad blood. I personally thought that there was bad blood there. Of course, with everything that happened, I thought they had kind of smooth things over, and we'll talk about it more. But as Dame said, he went to his concert and stuff like that. I thought they had smooth things over where they're just, hey, you're on your side, I'm on my side. But like he said no. I guess it's hands on. He's questioning, like, hey, it leaves a lot of questions when all these accusations come up about Diddy. It leaves a lot of questions in regards to what it is. With that being said, after, of course, Dame starts speaking on Aaliyah's death, where you have people like Jaguar Wright saying it wasn't just a simple death. That Aaliyah, she was asleep. They brought a plane down, and Dame said, he's like, man, that's very gangster. I don't know what kind of type of gangster that is where you could bring planes down. He said, he's used to some gangster stuff, but he ain't seen nothing gangster like that. Which again, I totally get. But with that being said, he was just messed up in the head. He's like, man, if it's true that my girl that I love it wasn't an accident, he said he may need therapy. He may need therapy because what that could do to his mind, where he may take it, he don't know where he'll take it. That if it's something more than what it was, that someone could have been responsible for her death or let her death happen and not tell. He said years later that could probably mess him up. He was really in love with the girl. As he stated, they had put him on involvement with all this stuff, and he's like, nah, I would never have nothing to do with my girl's demise. And like he said, and I'm glad Dame is being truthful, because he's saying what people have been saying in the industry that hasn't had a chance to speak, or has spoke and don't have a big enough voice. But he's saying a lot of people made a lot of money off of Aaliyah's death, and yeah, if it was something nefarious, we don't know. Now, another thing he was mentioning was, of course, going back to Diddy. The interviewer asked him about, hey man, we hear that the opening indictment that there was horse tranquilizer at Diddy's spot allegedly, and that people were numb or couldn't sleep for days on end during these freak offs. And he's like, man, Dame likes to always say pause whenever something sounds a little funny dunny. But this time he said, man, that's like on some devil worship type stuff. That's demon pause. He coined the phrase demon pause. I ain't never heard that one, demon pause. So he's like, yeah, man, that's demon pause. I don't know what kind of stuff you're into to have someone horse tranquilized, and then you doing all kind of things to him. He said he see that Diddy's a gangster, but he said he didn't know that there was so much gay activities going on in the music industry. He's like, man, him and his team made up the word pause because it was like things that were said that, hey man, that's kind of, oh whoa, hold on, that was back when it was hip hop was very homophobic back then. So you would say pause to say, hey, you can't just say things. But he's like, man, I hope I wasn't offending people when I say pause and they're closet homosexuals. They're secretly gay. He's like, I hope I wasn't offending a lot of people back then, but he also was like, man, what type of stuff where a dude is gay gangster? Like, he's like, that's a different type of gangster where a dude would rob you for your money and then rob you for your manhood. He just, again, he was at a loss for words about the way society has played out. Again, great interview. Again, as y'all listening, y'all haven't watched it yet, stop it, watch it to the very end because he's dropping a lot of jewels and he's just saying what he's thankful for. He has said he's just very thankful for waking up to his children, to be able to just go to the store, just go get something to eat. Once you see Diddy go down and he's locked up in a cell, he's just thankful for being able to go to his kid's basketball game or go play with his son and be at home. And it makes you question what is rich. To have all that money, but yet you're locked up in a cell. What is rich? Which, of course, that's a damn good conversation. He said he mentioned Dame had mentioned about 120 lawsuits. He's like, there's no way that there's 120 lawsuits, and even if 1% of them is true, that means just even one person comes forward. It's evil. I mean, it's evil, and you can't condone evil. He said we shouldn't be in a culture where we actually celebrate evil. If someone's doing something wrong, why are these people so celebrated? Why are they so tolerated? They're technically false idols if that's what you're going for, but that's what you're going for. But he said he personally removed himself from a lot of situations when he saw the music industry robbing people. He just felt it was wrong, and he moved on the part of righteousness. And he also mentioned that he was in it was a competition between him, Diddy, Jay-Z. As men, you're in competitive mode. You're always in competitive mode to do the next thing. And he said he's wondering how did they get all this money and all this access prior to him. Like he had a lot of great ideas, but so many doors were getting shut. How was Jay and how was Diddy getting all this access? And now he sees what's happening to Diddy. And he's like, man, I mean, some corrupt things might have had to come with that liquor deal or that signing of this or that signing of that or getting this record label off or, whatever. He said some horrible things must have come with it because Dame Dash said he would never compromise himself. He talked about the liquor deal. He talked about the Ciroc, and he said, man, if you were putting stuff in people's drinks and making them stay to do evil things to him, he said, man, he got into the drink business. So Diddy, of course, was part of De Leon and Ciroc, to where he played a clip of Nori, shout out Nori, but he said Nori was really trying to get him that Ciroc and have him take a shot of Ciroc, wanted him to look me in my eyes when you take it and stuff like that, and take that, and it's like, man, what's going on? It's very wild. It's very wild. Like again, very wild, very wild. With that being said, he also had a crazy story about him going over to a concert with Jay-Z, where his daughter really wanted to go to this concert. I think she was 16 at the time, he said, and he said he hit up Jay and they got tickets. So, they had the limo, everything situated front row. He said he had a time. He said he was drinking some of Jay's drink at the time, which is Douce. And for some reason, he said he got just a little more extra drunk than he normally does. And he's like, why is that? He's like, I normally don't get this drunk. But he has, Kevin Hart got him in a headlock, and he's like, man, what's going on? Like, why am I this drunk? Pause and all, all that stuff that he says, pause and all that. But still, Kevin Hart got him in a headlock. What the hell's going on? So it's a conversation, man. Basically, what Dame Dash was doing, raising a conversation that we should be having going forward. And that's why I'm even speaking about it with y'all, because that is a very important interview for y'all to go watch. Therefore, to come back here and we can speak on, because what Jaguar Wright has always been doing, she called him honeycombs back then, but she always said, hey, honeycombs, he's going down, run as fast as Cassie did. He's trying to warn young Miami. And all this stuff came out. And, that's just kind of how it goes, man. Again, he felt like he's in the lead. That's what another thing Dame harped on. He's like, man, I feel like I'm in the lead. I feel like, Jay, he has his money, however he got it, but to be silent, he got to be going through something, not say nothing, to be in all these cartoons and all these parodies, to be on so many people's tongue like in an ill manner. You don't want to be remembered for that. And he also talked about the legacy of Bad Boy. And he said the legacy of Bad Boy, it'll all be remembered for great things, but also it'll have like an asterisk. It'll be like under a dark cloud. If, these things with Puff is true, it's definitely a problem. Uh, he had, of course, spoke on, again, how pause came about, why they started saying it. And he felt the way. He's like, man, maybe people was actually upset I started saying these things. And he also mentioned as far as, some of the girls that were in the industry, they'd be passed around. And he said every time that he would maybe talk to a female that was with someone else prior, and they start trying to do the pillow talking, down talking, or talk about secret things that happened in the bedroom with that prior person, he said he'll shut that down. He didn't want to hear nothing about no other man, first and foremost, but also no other person that, maybe he might do business where he has to look at them a different kind of way. And females sometimes would do that just in anger, just because, they're scorned. So he talked about that as well. Again, he had a lot of great tips, a lot of great points, man. Again, he coined a lot of phrases, gay gangster, demon pause. So if you haven't seen that interview, man, this is just me coming on to tell y'all to go watch it. Those are some little things that we could discuss as far as if you have watched it. I definitely want y'all's take on it. Definitely want you to comment. Let's speak on it. Yeah, if not, tell me your thoughts on not only Dame Dash doing that interview, but Dame Dash doing his own interviews. And should more people talk? Should more people come out and say things that were at these parties back in the day? Because a lot of people is quiet right now with Diddy. And a lot of people ain't saying nothing, and I know they're at the parties. I see Leonardo DiCaprio getting a lot of heat, a lot of flack for, I guess, I don't even know what he said about Diddy, but, for coming to his aid or taking pictures with him. You got to be able to stand on your own merits with all this stuff. So with that being said, I'm curious on y'all thoughts, man. Y'all let me know. Hit the comment section. Go watch it. Come back. Let me know what your thoughts. Hit that like button, subscribe, and also hit the notification bell for whenever I do these videos again. Whenever I do the cash grabs, I give out some cash. I play some games. I want y'all to be the first to know what's coming. But of course, these videos go further if you hit that like button, and of course, things go up like that. On another note, Jaguar Wright Orlando Brown is going to be dropping on Friday. We moved the date from today, which is the 8th. We moved it to Friday. We're going to take it to the 11th. Because Jaguar had a breaking interview that we're going to drop first, where she responds to Piers Morgan and Vlad TV, her interview with that. So that's going to drop today on the 8th at 2 p.m. So as you're seeing this, that should already be out. So make sure y'all tune into that. What else? We got some dope stuff coming. I can't even tell you. We got a lot of secret stuff coming. So I don't want to tell y'all or put y'all on game with that yet. But it's coming. So just make sure you stay tuned. I'll try to update you guys as things go on. But yeah, man, I appreciate the love. Y'all just stay safe out there, man. Get your stay safe. Whoever's in the Hurricane Milton's path out there in Tampa, stay safe. Godspeed, and I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate it.